Shalom Sazria Metzora. Once again, we're still doing our shir away from our regular location. We're hoping that shortly, one of these weeks, we'll be able to get back and go back to our normal Thursday night shir at Bikur Cholim of Lakewood. And we're really looking forward to that day, and hopefully it will come soon. And we try to make it a point every year when we learn these parshios of Sazria Metzora, we try to raise a little bit awareness and to speak about the gravity of Lashon Hara and its ramifications and repercussions and the things that surround it. And the Nesivos Shalom speaks at length about why it is so that a person who gets tzaras as a result, one of the main reasons that a person would get tzaras as a result of speaking Lashon Hara, why is it that a person who gets tzaras becomes so ostracized by society? And why is it that for Hashem, a person that speaks Lashon Hara is really stepping over the line, stepping over a boundary? We know the Gemara tells us, Chazal say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says about a person who speaks Lashon Hara that Hashem Kaviyachal, and that person cannot live in the same world, cannot exist together. And I think actually everybody this time around, this year, everyone has a little bit more of an idea what it means to be cut off from public life and humanity. And in essence, that's really what happened to a Metzora. A Metzora was sent michutz lamachane, badod yeshev michutz lamachane. He had to sit out of the Machane Yisrael, and he had to sit away from everybody else. And we have a little bit more of an understanding of what that may feel like and what that really is today, because so many members of society now have been cut off from the normal day-to-day life, socializing and connections that we have to other people. So we really have a little bit more of a picture of what the Torah is referring to. And the Zohar actually brought down Shmir Saloshan from the Chafetz Chaim. The Zohar tells us something very interesting about someone who speaks Lashon Hara. And the Zohar tells us that the tefillos of one who speaks Lashon Hara do not come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Zohar tells us that there's a Ruach Tameh that hovers over anything that comes out of the mouth of someone who's a Baal Lashon Hara. And so a person who davens, those tefillos do not make it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Those tefillos do not go. And this actually adds a little bit clarity to the idea that is known about a Metzora, that the Torah tells us that when the Metzora goes away from people, when the Metzora is told that he can't be with people, the Torah tells us, V'tamei tamei yikra. Very interesting that the person who is a Metzora, he calls out to the passers-by, he calls out to other people, V'tamei tamei yikra. He says, I am tamei, I am tamei. The person says that, and he tells all the people around that I'm away from society, I'm away because I am tamei. And you know why? Because when a person speaks Lashon Hara, he needs other people to daven for him. His tefillos, as we said from the Zohar, his tefillos don't go anywhere. And you know, every person, in order to accomplish anything in our lives, and we know more than ever now, how everything in our lives, from financial to health to anything, everything that goes on in our life, is reliant upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the only way for us to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one of the main ways of a person to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is through tefillah. anything that we ask. But this person's tefillah, this Metzora, they're not accepted. And and somebody who speaks Lashon Hara, someone who speaks Lashon Hara, his tefillahs are not accepted. And he needs other people to daven for him. So the Metzora says, I am Tameh, I can't help myself right now. I need you to be a friend. I need you to daven for me. And what a really scary thought that is. A scary thought about someone who is a Baal Lashon Hara. As scary as it is something that everyone really needs to think about nonetheless. Because every person needs things, and every person wants to ask Hashem for things. But what happens if your tefillos are just stuck? That they come out of your mouth, there's a ruach tumah, there's a ruach tameh, and it doesn't go. It doesn't go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Very, very important thought for us to think about. And the Nesivos Shalom tells us that the Gemara, Masechta Erechim, Daf Tesvav Amud Beis, tells us that the word Metzora comes from the combination of an acronym for Moitzi Ra. That's how the word Metzora comes from, that Moitzi Ra. That anything that is exuded, anything that comes out of this person is bad. He's a Moitzi Ra. The entire Metzius of the person, because of Lashon Hara, the entire Metzius, the entire being of the person now becomes Ra. And we need to understand that if the Nesivos Shalom is telling us this, generally, we all know, or at least it's something that we should know, it's something that we should always keep in mind, that when a person does something wrong, we look at it that, of course, the essence of the person is, of course, good. And everybody has to look at it, because everybody does things wrong. Everybody sees things that other people do wrong. But the essence of a person is really, really good. And we need to always bear that in mind. But sometimes people just do things that are wrong. It's normal. It's something that happens in every person. There is no one who ain't tzaddik ba'aretz asher lo yechta. There isn't such a person around who doesn't do an aveira. The essence of the person, though, remains good. Something to think about, right? But that does not define the individual. When a person does something wrong, that doesn't define the person. The person is good. The maisa, the action that a person may do wrong, a person slips, right? That doesn't define the person. But one who speaks Lashon Hara becomes Moitzi Ra, says the Nesivos Shalom. That everything about the person is now Ra. And even when this person speaks Divrei Torah, I'm telling you the words of the Nesivos Shalom, even if this person speaks Divrei Torah, it is now bad. As we know, Chazal tell us that by Divrei Torah, there's a very interesting thing about Divrei Torah. That Lozeh Naseh Sam Chaim, to one person, Divrei Torah is, of course, life-giving. It's the elixir of life. Torah gives life. But for another person, a person who is a Moitzi Ra, and a person who now his essence became bad, the Lozeh, Chazal tell us, Nasin Sam Hamaves. That Torah can be like poison. Just because it's Torah doesn't make it good if the person themselves is someone that speaks badly about other people. That a person's own Divrei Torah can kill him. And that is all because a person is now a Moitzi Ra. A person is a Metzora. A person is somebody who speaks Lashon Hara. There are people, says the Nesivos Shalom, who belong to the world that is known as the Olam HaBinyan. And most people are part of that world. Olam HaBinyan means that their speech, their actions, the things that they do, they build things. That person is a builder. You're doing the right thing. You build up people. You build up their confidence. You build up your children. You build up your family. The things that you do build. You are a person that is from the Olam HaBinyan. And yet there are those, Rahman al-Itzlan, who are from somewhere that is known, the Olam HaChorban, the world of destruction. and everything the person does or gets involved in, and even if it seems they are doing good things and might say chesed and Torah and everything, but they are from an olam hachorban. They are from a world that causes destruction. The Sitra Achra, says the Nesivos Shalom, the Satan is the leader, is from the olam hachorban. And when he takes over a person, all parts of that person, if the person becomes a Baal Lashon Hara, and you on Motzi Shem and you speak badly of other people, and you think it's okay to do that, you become a person that is taken over by the Satan, and you are now from the Olam HaChorban. And even the Torah that you learn, and the Chesed you think you're doing, is just not doing it. It's not from the world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to be part of. And his speech goes along with that. The words that come out of the person's mouth. So while tsaras is really only seen from the outside appearance, they looked at a person, all the markings of tsaras that we see in the parsha this week, the Torah tells us something very important about tsaras. Umar'ehu amoik min ha'or. Yes, what you see on the outside, those markings of tsaras, yes, they're there. Umarehu amoik min ha'or. Just know that it goes a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper than just skin deep. It speaks about the essence. It speaks about the internal part of a person and what they represent. Just know that it goes a lot deeper. And the only eitzah the Torah tells us is badad yeshev michutz lamachane moishavai. That this person has to be ostracized from society. This person needs social separation. This person has to go away because you know why? Because it's infectious. And it's infectious and it's contagious. And the Torah tells us that it's like something infectious where when you hang around a person that is a Baal Lashon Hara, if you become a willing partner and someone that listens to the Lashon Hara, you too can end up in the Olam HaChorban. And it's so easy for you to be influenced. It's so easy for you to become that negative person, to become that person that now does not belong with society. So the Torah says, go out, sit alone. Sit alone. Don't do anyone any favors. Don't have anything to do with anyone. Don't learn with anyone. Don't do chesed with anyone. Because what you have to offer now is something that nobody wants. And how well we should all understand the science right now of contagious and infectious diseases. And we always mention from Nesivos Shalom that the Torah is alive. The Torah is nitzchias. And at every time and every generation, there are lessons that we can take out of the Torah. And how much more so do we understand today this inyan of tsaras, this inyan of being put out michutz lamachane separately, this inyan of needing to social distance from disease, to social distance from Lashon Hara, to social distance from those that want to gossip, to understand that we have to stay so far away from Lashon Hara and bad and negative people that peddle the Lashon Hara wares. Every one of us, every person today understands more than ever that we need our tefillos to have the potency and the power that is able to be behind the tefillah. The tefillos that a Jewish person utters, the tefillos that a Jewish person supplicates to HaKadosh Baruch Hu has so much power. And it has so much capability to do so many good things for yourself, for Klal Yisrael, for your family, for your neighbors, for those around us, for the chaylim, for people that need. But it has to come from a mouth that is makpid, not to speak Lashon Hara. A person has to come from a person who's from the Olam HaBinyan. We're in the business of building people. Let us learn this lesson. Let us learn the lesson that we need to take out of the Torah of these parshiyos this year to make us into better people, to make us into better builders, and to make us into the people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so proud of, because we build people. We're just good people. I wish you all a good Shabbos.